All right, the Las Vegas Raiders have a player that I think is overlooked. I think he's overlooked because you drafted a generational player at the position just a year after he was drafted. So all of a sudden, everybody's like, nah, we forgot about him. No big deal. I'm here to tell you why, with this new coaching staff, you need to start remembering him again. I think there's very interesting and unique things that you can do. But before we get into that, let me tell you a little bit about this channel. If you are new to it, we are Detroit Lions fans. I mean, look, come on. I'm wearing the St. Brown headstand T-shirt, right? In celebration, Madden just announced that this celebration's going to be in the game. But we are Lions fans, but we want to give you a non-biased look into what your teams are doing. We talk about teams around the NFL that aren't traditionally really recognized by the national media. And as of late, that's been the Raiders. Some of that is because of the lack of success, but some of it's just because, who you're in a division with. So we're going to go into this. We're going to talk about somebody that I think many of you forgot about, but there's good news coming out of camp, the summer workouts, and something I'm excited to see develop as training camp begins and we get into the preseason, because I think you're going to see some of him in those games as well. So let's talk for a minute about tight end Michael Mayer. Now, I want to ask you all the question. What is your level of hope for Michael Mayer? Throw it down in the comments below. Are you thinking that he's just going to, kind of a bust? He's never going to turn into anything. He's just a blocking tight end. Or are you thinking that, man, oh man, he can go and do some things? So in this video, we're going to talk about a couple of quotes that he said. I'm going to read those quotes to you. Then I'm going to get into what he was drafted at as a pro and a comparison that analysts were talking about going into the draft. And then I'm going to jump into some of the great wide receivers, some of the great two tight end sets that I think this can be similar to. So let's first talk about what was happening. The Dolphins. News surfaced today that the Dolphins could be very interested in a trade, and they want to acquire Michael Mayer from the Raiders. Now, if you're under a rock like I was or something like that, late last night, news broke that the Miami Dolphins and Pittsburgh Steelers agreed to a trade. So Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith and a 7th-round pick are heading to Pittsburgh. Minkah Fitzpatrick and a 7th-round pick are heading to Miami. So Miami now needs a tight end. They need a tight end. So they were looking for Michael Mayer, and everybody's like, well, Michael Mayer, tight ends haven't always been that big of a deal in a Chip Kelly offense. However, Vincent, out of the Las Vegas Review-Journal, reported that the Raiders have absolutely no interest in trading Mayer. And Mayer himself said last week that he believes he will have a big role in Kelly's offense. Here's what he said, and I'll actually show it to you as I read it. He said, "It's been a great spring here. I'm so excited to be back here, and it's been very fun. New coaching staff's been great. Everything's great," Mayer said. "These coaches know what I can do and what I can put out on that field. And it's obviously only going to be better out there with Brock Bowers, with Ian Thomas, those other two tight ends. The tight end room as a whole, we're very, very close. We're a close-knit community. We've had a great spring so far, and we're really, really excited just to help this football team in any way we can, man. We got a lot of good tight ends in that room, and I think Chip knows it. I think PC knows it, and we're excited to kind of get this thing going." So here's the thing that I want to we're going to get into the two tight end set in a minute. But before that, I want to get into helping you remember who he was. I went back to an article on PFF, and based on the stats, based on the body shape, all that kind of stuff, their comp for tight end Michael Mayer was Jason Witten of the Dallas Cowboys. All right? A brute in the run game who can make leverage, giving linebackers a slight shove to create a yard of separation, and on a quick out on what you're getting in Mayer. And it's what Witten made a living on. They're both even have a shuffly running style where they don't quite pick up their legs. It's like they're the same person. The question is, can you make it work? I think the other thing that people forget about Michael Mayer, he's a good blocker. He's a very good blocker both in the run and passing game. So I think that the Raiders, now that they have what is a significantly better running back, they're going to be running the ball more. What set in the NFL can you do if you can effectively run and pass out of it? It's 12 personnel. All right, it's 5 linemen, 2 tight ends, 1 running back, 1 quarterback, 2 receivers. That is the personnel. So you have 4 or 5 route runners if you send them all out, but also you have good run blockers in there. And if you want, you can run play action, keep a tight end back for pass blocking, all of that kind of stuff. 12 personnel has been a very effective thing. And he absolutely knows that. So let's get back into the second quote that he said. Let's get back into this second quote that he had after spring ball. He said, with me and Brock, it's pretty interesting because we do a lot of 12 personnel stuff. And I know this spring we've also been doing a lot of 13 personnel, 3 tight ends, which has been awesome. That's with Ian Thomas out there too. It's been a lot of fun. So I won't speak any more to the 13 personnel. I'll save that for the season. But I got to be ready to do a lot of everything, Mayer said. He said, I got to block. I got to pass pro. I got to run routes. I got to be able to catch the ball. And that's just what it comes down to. If Chip wants to head me out there on that field, I got to be able to run routes. I got to be able to make people miss. I got to be able to score touchdowns. And when he asked me to block, I'm going out there to block 100% the most I can, the best I can, and work my hardest and go from there. Here's the deal. His job is never going to be the guy that they're going to ask to catch 100 passes as a tight end. It's just not. It's not. All right, but he can be the tight end that can catch 50 while also blocking and doing all these other great things. So it started making me wonder, what are some of the more effective 2 tight end sets in NFL history? Let's start with the big one. All right, let's start with the big one. Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez. This is in 2011 with the Patriots. Gronk had 1,300 yards. Hernandez had 900 yards. They combined for 24 touchdowns. All right, that was unbelievable, but those were 2 guys that could both line up in the slot. They could line up out wide. They could block. Like, that was a different level. Other ones that I think could be a little more similar. All right, Dallas Clark and Marcus Pollard. Colts, early 2000. They regularly combined over a 3 or 4 year stretch to have 100+ catches and 1,200 yards together. All right, this was awesome. Here's another one that I like the comparison. Remember with Philly when Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz were together? How cool was that? All right, Ertz that year had 88 catches, 960 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Brock Bowers will do better than that. He'll do better than that. But Goddard at the same time had 58 catches, 600 yards, and 5 touchdowns. I thought that was really, really good as well. And then when you look at other weird ones, go early 90s, Dallas Cowboys. All right, Jay Novacek and Alfredo Roberts. Remember that? Not flashy, but highly effective in Norv Turner's play-action offense. You should be play-actioning people to death in Las Vegas this year. With the run game that you're going to have, with the blocking ability that you're going to have, it's not flashy, it's just good football. Imagine the Raiders. I know what you're used to is just this bombs down, bomb away, right? Like old school, draft the fastest receiver, send him sprinting down the field. All right, let's not talk about Darius Hayward-Bay right now, but that is what that's gone. Now it's, hey, play action. You have a tight end that can stretch the field vertically down the middle. You have a bowling ball for a running back. This is going to be different, and you're going to have fun. Common traits of great 2 tight end sets is mismatchability. Can you beat linebackers and DB in coverage? We know Brock Bowers can. Can Michael Mayer? Versatility. Can they line up anywhere? Michael Mayer, not as versatile as Brock Bowers. Blocking ability. There you go. Can you run 12 personnel without tipping the run or the pass? That is a huge question that they're going to have to answer, but that is where their strength is going to be. That is where their strength is going to be, and then they can do well with the play-action threat because of it. All right, hey, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you on the next one. Hey, oh, also, by the way, I probably won't do another Raiders video before the 4th, so happy 4th. See ya.